I apologize for the wind. The weather's just not settling. Hello and blessings, my beautiful souls. Oh God, it just got really sunny then. Today's video is all about how to create your own unique tarot style. There is such an important component to creating your own tarot style. It is your own signature when you are reading tarot, and it can be a little bit tricky to develop it because we're often comparing ourselves to others far too much, and that in turn lacks authenticity. So today's topic is how to create your own unique, personal, authentic tarot style. It starts with understanding your own unique voice. What I mean by this are the interests that you have, the experience that you have, your likes, your dislikes, your hobbies. All of these things create this really personal reflection of who you are as a person that feels very authentic. So if you're the type of person that likes to journal and really enjoys hockey, that really should contribute to a part of your personal tarot practice because it's an extension of the self, what you enjoy, what lights you up on the inside, and what is valuable to you as a human being. Next, I'm going to recommend that you develop your intuition. That's that beautiful little voice that sits inside of you, the one that sort of whispers away. The thing here is that your intuition wants to be heard and can, in fact, provide some really interesting and out of this world kind of insights during a tarot reading that adds a different layer onto a reading, thus deepening the experience for yourself or for the client, right? It's a little something extra, and your intuition is yours alone. It's that voice that belongs to you. Nobody has the same intuitive reflex as you. Nobody can word things in exactly the same way as you can. Nobody can interpret their intuition in the same way as you can. So when you make a deep and genuinely authentic connection with your inner self, with that intuitive faculty, with that voice that sits inside of you, the one that likes to add layers of meaning and point out unique little occurrences and find little synchronicities, like that is a voice that deserves to be heard, and it's up to you as a tarot reader to develop that voice. Believe it or not, when I say intuition, I'm not necessarily talking about your psychic sense. Everybody has intuition. Everybody has that little inner voice. It's that feeling of right, wrong that steps in from time to time, the flutter in the stomach. There is such an important need for us as tarot readers to develop it because it brings in nuance, and it is an incredibly sensitive experience to be connected to your intuitive faculties. This in turn will help to add so much dimension to your tarot readings, and people will walk away feeling as though they've experienced something really special because you've not just interpreted the cards, you've added your own intuitive insights to the card meanings, adding extra layers that nobody else can create like you can. Next, I'm going to recommend that you incorporate personal rituals. Now, the term rituals can, or ritual I should say, can in fact invoke something in one's mind. But at the end of the day, ritual is anything that you do with intention and that can be repeated over and over again, right? If there's meaning and intention in what you're doing, it becomes its own little ritual. So brushing your teeth every day, it's a ritual. If you need a cup of coffee to really wake up in the morning, that is a ritual. But when it comes to your tarot reading, when you're setting up a space, it's a great opportunity for ritual. And you may already have your rituals in place and not yet realize that they are in fact rituals. The way that you shuffle your deck, the types of items that you like to have around you when you are doing a reading, if you like any items at all. Just because you don't have an altar upon which to read with lots and lots of candles, crystals, and curiosities doesn't mean that you're not ritualistic with your tarot. Ritual helps to add layers of meaning. It helps to shift the atmosphere of a tarot reading, and it gives a different type of energy. It really projects a different type of energy. You can have a standard table with absolutely nothing on it but a tarot deck, but the moment you light a candle and bring a little crystal in, or put a photo frame with something that inspires you, or a piece of art that really lights you up, you're already enhancing the environment in which you are going to perform your tarot reading. This in turn adds layers. It shifts the vibration within the room because everything feels pretty, it feels good. It's kind of like a dopamine experience. And that in turn helps to elevate your mood so that when you sit down to do your reading, you feel a certain sense of magic, a certain sense of meaning, that grounding, centering experience. You feel very activated, very alive, very curious, and very ready to perform a really powerful reading. So what you choose to do as far as your rituals go is entirely up to you. They can be as fun or as silly or as esoterically meaningful as you want them to be. It's not the point. The point isn't to make everything spooky, mystical, looking like something out of a movie. The point is to create valuable, meaningful rituals that resonate with you and you alone. They are extensions of you. They make you feel good. They keep you in the zone. They create flow for you. And that is what we are aiming for. So sit with it for a little bit. Think of ways in which you can add your own little rituals, your own little curiosities, your own little symbolism, or whatever it might be. And work with integrating that into your tarot experience. I'm incredibly ritualistic when I read tarot. I have a full setup because I'm a folk witch. And I like to work with my ancestors, and I like to work with my Orisha, and I like to work with different types of energies and oils and things like that. This is the style that sets me apart from everybody else because of my own way in which I like to set up a reading, from ringing a bell or shaking my little owl rattle or doing something like that, from smoke cleansing, from anointing my hands the way that I do. Like, all of these have contributed to my own unique style of tarot reading, and it's something that my clients absolutely love because it's part of that visual excitement and that enticement. I take a lot of care in how I prepare for a reading, and I put a lot of energy into the readings that I do for others, and that in turn deserves a ritual that is worthy of that experience. My next recommendation is that you blend your other interests, and I'm specifically referring to intellectual, somewhat esoteric even, types of interests. So if you are a lover of astrology, find a way to weave that into the tarot because the two complement each other really, really well. Likewise is numerology, likewise is Kabbalah. But there are in turn many different ways in which you can infuse interests, like intellectual styles of interests, into the way that you read. You might use analogies that are very personal to you, but that belong to a totally different experience within your life. So for instance, if you're a ballet dancer, there might be information or wisdom within the context of ballet that can naturally be translated to a card in the context of a reading that can provide a really unique layer, and it just sets you apart from everybody else. It's one thing to sit down and read the cards as you see them, to read the images, to understand their foundational aspects. Most beginners can do that. But what's going to set you apart is what you do beyond that. The world that you create around your tarot is incredibly important, which is why creating your own unique style is utterly necessary. Next, we're going to talk about the need to practice. Tarot, like everything else, is a skill that needs to be applied over and over again. Talking Eight of Pentacles right here. It takes time to develop your style. It takes time to learn how to read the tarot. It takes time to understand how the cards work one with the other. It takes time to understand if you're a spreads reader or a freeform reader like myself. It takes time. This cannot be rushed, nor should it be rushed, because the journey is part of the magic. The way that you build your tarot practice is just as important as the way you conduct your readings. If you are doing a really thorough job of building your tarot knowledge and building your tarot practice and really exercising that muscle, that tarot muscle, so to speak, then your experience is going to be so much richer than that of someone who has simply rushed through it. I'm not a believer of rushing one's learning of tarot. Tarot is incredibly complex. Yes, you can learn the cards quickly, you can learn their upright reverse meanings quickly, you can learn a good collection of keywords fairly quickly, really. But it should not be rushed. Don't rush it because you're going to miss out on the experience of building on top of that as you learn. The one beautiful thing that I will recommend to all beginner tarot readers out there is to not just accept the keywords that are naturally associated to different cards, but to also add to your own unique collection of keywords through experiences and thoughts and ideas and creative experiences that you've had within your life. So you will relate to your deck totally differently to how I will relate to my deck, because we are two very unique people. We are living two very separate lives. So in order to honor your own experience, it's super, super important to sit with and practice. And practice and practice and practice and practice. I can't emphasize this enough. The more you touch the tarot, the more you shuffle your deck, the more you lay out the cards, the more you experiment with spreads, the better the reader you will be. Mastery is achieved by repetition, or so I'm told. Some people are born with a natural genius. That is the exception, not the rule. If you want to be good at something, you've got to practice. Ask an athlete how they got so good at what they do. It's because they show up for themselves to practice time and time and time again, to refine, to streamline, and to deepen their understanding. Practice will enable you to do that, and it's so, so very important. So please don't rush the process of learning tarot, and please don't skip the tarot practice. Tarot practice is paramount to the learning experience. Even as an experienced reader, tarot practice is super, super important to me. It's super important to me. I will play around with my tarot decks as a student damn near every single day, because I know how important it is to keep looking and seeing if I can see something unique that I've never seen before. That really makes me excited. If I can somehow figure out a new meaning, a new perspective, a new approach to reading a card, that is such an incredible feeling for me as a reader. And I really want to emphasize that. So practice and practice, because practicing is the art of tarot. Practicing will get you closer to deepening your own unique style. Practicing is important. Building on from practice, I am going to recommend that you collect feedback. Now, the process of collecting feedback really only comes into play when you are comfortable enough to read for other people. Now, when you're comfortable enough to read for other people, it stands to reason that you go close to home. Parents, siblings, best friends, they are typically the best to help to get you on track as far as your tarot reading experience goes. You want to get a bit of feedback from everyone that you read for. It's important to get some feedback. As a professional tarot reader, I still do free readings for people, and all I want in return is a bit of feedback. So how did that go? How did that land? I always ask these questions no matter how I feel during the experience. Even when I'm doing readings for my clients, I always say, if you have any questions or would like to share anything, please do not hesitate to contact me, because that feedback aspect is so, so very important to refining my process and my style. It is so, so, so valuable to have really good, honest feedback. And in order to do that, in order to really be in the place to receive feedback, you need to be fairly sure that you're ready to share. That's important. If you're not ready to share and you're feeling very self-conscious and you're feeling very nervous about it, it's probably not time for you to share. Go back and practice, 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 because practice makes perfect. It helps to breed confidence within yourself. But if you are in a position where you can share, start with people that are going to be considerate to you and who are going to be honest with you. And you already know in the back of your mind who those people are. So really, really think about it. And when you're ready, go to those unique individuals that you know have your back and that are going to help you to become even better through their conscious effort, their support, and their beautiful, valuable feedback. Next, I'd like to talk about staying true to yourself. This is harder than probably anything else that you're going to have to battle, because inspiration breeds imitation, and I'm told that imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. I don't copy. I can't do it. I don't have the capacity to do it. I have to do everything my own way, in my own way, but that's just me, and I know that other people, struggle with this because they want to emulate the energy of a particular person's style. And the only way that they can figure out how to do that is by copying that style step by step, really recreating it and, you know, doing it that way. Oh my God, the sun is cooking me right now. Anyway, that aside, staying true to yourself means not copying verbatim someone else's style. If you really value a tarot reader's opinion or their style, you can look at it and think, okay, what do I really, really like about it? And pull something that really resonates. You might actually acknowledge, once you've sat there and really studied a person's style, that not everything does resonate, in which case you take what works for you, you use it in a respectful manner, and if it doesn't feel right, let it go. If it lands and it feels good and you feel, you know, enhanced by this experience that you've adopted from someone else, then always remember it doesn't hurt to give a little credit to where you got that from. And I actually think it's a huge measure of honor and respect to do that. If you've taken a little something from someone else's practice, saying thank you and acknowledging them for, you know, allowing them to see and adopt this tiny little method that they've put together for themselves, like, that's really beautiful, that's really powerful, and that's really respectful, and it creates a beautiful energy between you and the community. But I will say this, the tarot community is incredibly active. It's massive and incredibly active, and there are a lot of people with eyes on everybody. So if you happen to think that you're going to get away with copying someone else's style without somebody calling you on that, you are sorely mistaken, my friend. It happens all the time. I've seen it happen all the time. I don't personally partake in nastiness online, but some people, they just love it. They love calling each other out on their nonsense, and that's fine, that's over there. But always remember that if you're going to copy someone else's style, you are going to get a bit of pushback when finally the eyes, the judgy eyes land on you. They're going to be able to tell. And the worst thing about it is, if you copy someone's style and it's inauthentic to you, you are going to come across as an inauthentic reader. Your authenticity will come into question, your integrity will come into question. It brings unnecessary drama, and it eradicates peace. And I don't like drama, and I work hard to retain my peace. I work really, really hard for it. So stay true to yourself. Honor your own voice. Honor your own interests. Honor your own ways of doing things. Honor your own ideas. It's so, so, so very important in the process of developing your own unique style. How about you create a signature spread? Whether you're a freeform reader like myself or a spreads reader, it's always fun, and it actually tests your mettle to create a really beautiful spread that is totally unique to you. It's come out of your own mind. It really has, and it becomes a signature of your own personal style. If you're a spreads reader, this will be good for you. To have your own unique collections of spreads, that's really valuable. If you look at really experienced spread readers, you will notice that they seldom use common spreads. They typically make their own spreads. There are some OG tarot spreads like the Celtic Cross, or the trimmed down version of the Celtic Cross, or the astrological spread, and so on, past, present, future. These spreads are OG spreads that are known by most tarot readers, but your spread will be unique to you, will be also the magnet in which it attracts other clients. So when you become a reader, a professional reader, your style will attract particular types of clients. And if you're not really honest and authentic with how you do that, you're going to be attracting the wrong kinds of clients. They won't resonate, and you're going to have a really stressful time dealing with these types of clients. But if you are doing everything in your power to maintain as authentic as possible, you're creating your own style, you're creating your own spreads, you're weaving in your own interests and doing all the things, right? you're going to be able to attract the right type of client, the right type of friend who needs the reading, the right type of family member who needs that reading. It's so very important to who you choose to read for, or who chooses you as their reader. It's really important. So sit down. If you're a spreads reader, do the spreads, play around with the spreads. Barbara Moore, I think, yes it is, Barbara Moore has a really good tarot book specifically structuring tarot spreads. I think it is absolutely so valuable of a resource. I will link it in the information bar below, just in case you're interested in looking at it. It's a book I own. It's a book that has helped me to become a freeform reader. I am too ADHD to follow a spread. I'm sorry, I can't do it. My freeform reading style, though, is incredibly unique. And so I live for that freeform space. That lights my heart up, and that helps me to be a better reader. So making that distinction is important ahead of time. But exercise your creativity. Create some beautiful spreads. One might become your signature. It might be so unique, nobody else has done it before. The style, the structure, it's powerful, it really digs deep. It might be everything to someone that's looking for it, and they get to experience that magic thanks to you, your own insights, your own creativity, and your own passion for creating within the tarot realm. The last thing that I'm going to say here is that you need to really embrace growth and change as a part of your own unique tarot style. Tarot grows all the time. It really does. Once upon a time, court cards meant people. Now they mean so much more than just people. So tarot grows and changes and evolves naturally with the time. And it's important that your practice stay malleable enough in which it evolves when necessary. This is not going to be an evolution that happens every day, every week, not even every year, but you are going to experience change within the realm of tarot that you are going to have to translate into your own practice, whether you like it or not, because that is the nature of the beast. I have had to change my style. I've been reading for a really long time, and I learned from other people. I learned from my grandmother, and the way she read is totally different and unique to the way that I read, because we are in different times. This is a different era of tarot. Her era of tarot and my era of tarot, they don't connect all that well anymore. But I still have the grounding influences of her teaching, and there are elements of tarot that just will never change, and they will always be the real bones of what tarot means. But the way in which we look at cards, the way in which some people now don't even use reversals because they can determine in the moment where a card is upright or reversed. Some people believe that tarot is the full spectrum of human experience, and it is the way that it is, and it is perfectly balanced in its upright format, and that's great. I still work with reversals. Not with every single deck, but I still work with reversals because I still see the value in it, but not everybody does anymore. The way that I shuffle my deck is very respectful. It's very cutesy. It's very demure. So stupid. But the way I choose to shuffle is very feminine. It's slow. It's purposeful. Cards aren't flying out in every direction, but that's the new trend within the tarot. It actually irks me, but it's none of my business the way somebody else chooses to shuffle their deck. It's got absolutely nothing to do with me, their journey, their way, their style. Leave it with them. But for me, I have a very unique way in which I shuffle my deck. I have a very unique way in which I read my deck. I have a very unique way in which I view my court cards, and all of this can change should it need to, and I have to be braced for it. I need to be prepared for it. So when you're creating and developing your own unique style, understand that there will be things that will work for you, and there will be things that you need to change. There will be ways in which you look at your tarot cards and your tarot practice and the way that you read for others that in a couple of years may completely change. Your perspectives may change. The more you learn about tarot, the more things change for you as a reader, the more you grow as a reader. And that's incredibly important to honor. If you are completely locked or shut in and you don't observe any change, you're going to find that your practice is stiff and it slowly over time becomes really archaic. There is one thing that is true for tarot, and that is tarot is tarot. At its core, it's tarot. And if you are at all interested in the world around you and you like to read about tarot and you like to look at social media, you're going to see how tarot differs from person to person, place to place, culture to culture. You're going to be able to observe that from deck to deck. Between the Rider, the Thoth, and the Marseille, it's a different style. So the concept or the component of difference amongst tarot readers is literally where the magic lies. I don't want my style of reading to be anything like anybody else's. And that's my responsibility to cultivate that, but I can't be so rigid that I lock myself out of experiences and, necessary evolutions and new lessons and new emerging styles. It's incredibly important to allow for change to touch your practice from time to time. And so, my beautiful souls, I hope that you have enjoyed this video on how to create your own unique tarot style. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up, share it around if you know of someone who might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you've enjoyed this content. But above all else, I hope that I have been able to give you something to think about as far as developing your own unique style, because that was the power behind this video. So with all of that said and done, I'm wishing you so much love, luck, peace, and joy. Take care of yourself, and I will chat to you again soon. Mwah! Bye!